Raid of the White Leopard, Book 1, is the story of a band of Vikings that get caught up in a storm and wash up on a mysterious island. Written by Edwin Acevedo, the writer of The Ace, with art by Avery Butterworth from The Lost Pages. Back it today on fundmycomic.com.
Хоча покажу, як кожен спортсмен піднімає вигляд.
Покажи.
Можемо почати з Тірекса.
Ну давай, бачиш стіну, давай.
А, блядь, ще шучу.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, whew, I'm in. Little bit rushed today, but okay. I'm waiting for a few people to show up because that's what we're supposed to do is wait for people to show up. Anyway, so to do that, I get to talk about jiu-jitsu again. Anyway, thank you, Mo, for being here. I see that Mo is in the chat, objecting to whatever promos I might present, which is fine. I didn't present those promos. I get my cable wound up here on the microphone. Hopefully, you can probably hear me moving around. So, all right, there's that. So here we go. Thanks for being here. And what am I? Oh yeah, let's see. Why did that fight end in a passionate embrace? The guy saying, I know you get it and you're making jokes, but the guy saying I'm so sorry is the guy on top of the embrace. The guy on the yeah, I see. All right, that'll come up. The guy laying on the floor is the guy with a broken leg. So anyway, the part I cut out is him saying, as soon as the guy's leg breaks, I cut the part out where he stands up saying, I will never compete again. And it's like, don't make it about yourself. You know, I understand the emotion there, but don't make it about yourself. So I cut that part out. Anyway, nothing against the Jupiter as a book. The trailer is a problem. The trailer is a bit odd. Yeah, I'll give you that. Not a problem. All right, so let's see. If I flip on the camera. Yep, there we are. All right, so let me get this set nicely. Seems to be centered. There's the middle. Okay, so I need to go. No. All right, here's the middle of me. There, that's better. That'll be easier to manage. Is my cable caught on something again? No. All right, cool. So we've got books tonight. And as anyone, thank you everybody for watching the replay. I'm supposed to go through the script. Dang it. Please hit like and subscribe. If you do want to support me, I do have a tip coffee thing link way down in the description. Oh, look, my nails. And there we go. That's just if you want to support me. So, Hail Hex. Hey, you're here. Cool. Thanks for being here, Hex. I'm finally learning to say hail. It always felt weird, but I'm finally learning to say it. So let me type it too. Hail. And that's a giant typo. Hail. Yeah. Just, oh boy. Okay, anyway. So life is changing. Life is getting really busy. And this is my vamp to let people show up. So I hope I'm not boring you too much. A couple of things. My training partner today had law enforcement experience. We're training in jiu-jitsu. And you'll get the hang of it. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's for saying hail, I believe. So today, what we were practicing on was, I forget the starting position. Oh, just side control. So one dude on his back, other dude like sternum to sternum, 90 degrees off, that kind of thing. And you take among the many things that we did, one of them eventually is trying the next variation. So you take your opponent's arm. So let's say you're the dude on top. Like, oh, I see my camera slowing down. Anyway, you're this dude on top over here. So you're going to take your opponent's arm over there, the one that's towards your head, trap it, and then you flip your hips down so that your belly button's facing his north, his headward that way. But as you flip your hips down so that you can step over his face, and at the same time you're going to lift his arm up, which turns his shoulder sideways there, and you're completely trapping the arm, etc. and whatnot. So now you're facing down his body, sitting like on his trapezius. It's like sitting on his neck and shoulder while holding his arm up, using to get the arm straight. You put it against your body and then sit up straight. You don't arm wrestle it up like that. So anyway, and that's a tip there for everything you do. It's you always attach to your torso and then move with your hips. But what was it? Oh yeah. So after you get your opponent like that, essentially you're supposed to take their arm and elevate it up to the level of their shoulder. So you're in line with your shoulders. So you're making a human pretzel. Yes. Did he? Sorry. I'm trying not to interrupt myself by reading the chat too quick, but I'm sorry. Blue, my sex ed teacher was giving this. You got me, Mo. If a sex ed teacher were giving this explanation, there would be protesters for sure. I know. So anyway, as you're kneeling, and what he wants us to, and here's your opponent like that struggling, but he wants us up on our feet with our knees pressed on the back and front of our opponent's shoulder as we've got the arm lifted up and whatnot, and you're trying to trap the arm to twist it backwards for what's called a kimura. So you get the elbow in line with the shoulder girdle. So it's here's the shoulder, or camera angle, here's the shoulder girdle like that. You pull their arm up so their elbow is in line with that, but the arm's bent, and you're gonna twist it behind them and all that. So the instructor made a comment about what to do with the wrist at a certain point, and he said bend towards the hip, but that takes the shoulder back down out of line, or sorry, the elbow back down out of line with the shoulders. And so my partner, who's way newer than I am, despite his prior training of military law enforcement, whatever, I'll read that in a moment. Okay. We didn't catch it, and I was focused on the next like some other part of the instruction to get it right, because even though I've done this and I know this, I still need refining and whatnot. I'm not that high ranked. So we didn't quite know, and I said, yes, he said something about moving my wrist to my hip, but that takes the shoulder back down like this. So you don't want that. You want the elbow up here. And it was just bend the elbow more is what it really meant. And he stops for a moment and he goes, oh yeah, this is just handcuffing procedure. I should know this already. God. Okay. I forgot something. I'll be back in just a moment. So let's see. There we go. All right. So what do we got here? Oh, this is standard practice for middle schools in West Hollywood. Just got back from the Pride Parade, fam. Oh, boy. Let me go get something. Okay, I'm back. It's been getting cold here at night, and so I was getting cold, and now I'm just super hot, so I had to kind of change things around real quick. Sorry about the delay. I'm not that high ranked. Blue is still attempting to get on top of the poll. I caught the pun. Okay. Anyway, we got packages to open. Oh, jeez. Why do you do this to me, Mo? Why do you dirtyify my mind? Again, the beautiful artwork honoring Art to Bear, done by Eric NINALTOWSKI every week. Oh, and in a couple of weeks, I'll have something very special from NINALTOWSKI. But for now, it's time for packages. Okay, so you know that I like to mix up, or maybe you don't know if anybody's watching and new. I do try to mix up better known people or more popular stuff with lesser known people or less popular stuff, just to give people some visibility. So the first package tonight's a little bit better known, but it's a repeat. I happen to know it's from Gary Shipman, which means it's more of the mouse book. We'll get through that, and then we'll get to the next book. So one of the I forget. Oh yeah, when we look at the artist later, we're going to look at an artist instead of a book. Here's my package. I'm going to tie that into the second package I open. So instead of getting ahead of myself, so what happened here, as it's obviously been previously opened. These were delivered to my work, and when I got around to that site, they had been unpacking equipment and like popped open one side of this and was just like, wait a minute, what? So because this one from Mr. Shipman did not show up with degenerate manga characters all over it, we know what I'm referring to, then they didn't exactly recognize it as being mine, because nobody reads address labels. So anyway, I'm not mad. Sorry, that sounded a little angry. I'm just being goofy. It's been really busy. I've been trying to build a computer for my nephew and rebuild one for me, a laptop. I have a side table over here. It's crowded. There are little details everywhere all over. You just can't see them. It's insane here right now. In fact, take that down here. Okay, that silver thing is my dad's old external hard drive. It's a freaking hard drive. Has its own power supply. I mean, it's got a 3.5-inch hard drive in it. It's enormous. Thanks, Dad. Well, anyway, so there's a box down here you really can't see. I haven't totally cleaned up from last week. Like, it's crowded. Hey, Chael's here. I wonder why. You're assembling a laptop, oy vey. Actually, I'm almost there. Because of the way Apple does stuff, and forgive me for using Apple. Yes, I will get the screws back in here at some point. I've just retaped the thing on. The way that they made their High Sierra operating system from a little while ago work is if you're using an SSD, it reformats the drive into this new format that your older stuff can't read. I don't want that. But if you build on a spinning drive and then make a backup and then restore the backup to an SSD, it's in the format you want. Okay, what do we got? You think you're frustrated? Imagine Mighty Mouse reading that he's been replaced by the Mouse of Might. Oh boy. On that note, Apple. Forgive me for using Apple. Okay, but it's going to take time to heal. All manga artists use Macs. All right. Those degenerates. So let's see. At work, they opened my package. Most of the way. This popped open right there. Might as well grab the knife. So, Chael, it's late. I think it's 11 p.m. to you. And, okay, no packing slips. Oh, I already got this one. Oh, that's right. Okay, I know why. Good. Cool. I know why you're here. You maybe recognized an image. Sorry about the banging noise. I am getting to that a little bit later. So what happened here, and why I have a double, because we looked at this one last week. They probably use old school Macs when the mouse only had one button. That's why their books come out backwards. Manga creators. It is. Okay. Yeah. I am going to go into some detail. I'm going to try and keep this under 90 minutes. So we'll see what we can do. I got a lot to say about Guardians of Erloth 1 and 2, and that's what's coming up. And then, let's see. But, yeah, not number 3, because it's part 3, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay. Okay, so Packins, the reason why I'm getting a duplicate of number 1 is because it was the only way for me to get a copy of number 2, because I missed the number 2 campaign, and so when the 1 through 3 came out, that was it. Hey, Crazy Mad, how you doing? All right, so we'll just take a quick glance at this because he is remastering them. There we go. Paul Packins right there. And the Mouse of Might, I was wrong. This is not Mouse of Might. The Mouse of Might is a spin-off of Packins Land, where the mouse comes from Packins Land back through to our world. So we got lots of hellos. Packins, Crazy Man. Cool. So just take a quick glance. I'll do like every third page. Yeah. I really appreciate Mr. Shipman. Can't wait to read these. I did look over the old Caliber Packins Land books just a little bit, and yeah, these are quite remastered. In fact, these are more remastered than I think he did for the big hardcover omnibus. I might be mistaken. I might be right. All right, well, let's see what we got. Well, we're looking at a large black page with a bat on it. Every time people respond to modern race swaps by showing a white Black Panther, they are missing the opportunity to show off white Mowgli in the book. In this book. I keep forgetting to mention Gary Shipman, who is very cool. Dang it. Wow. I start talking and then my throat gets all. Just a moment. Sorry, had to mute. Okay. Mr. Shipman, for some reason, was harassed weeks ago. This is like a month or so ago by this false... This company that gets used for false flagging from India. I forget their name right now, but they're trash. And they are used to file copyright complaints again. He got the feather against different YouTube streams, and for some reason the number 22 keeps coming up. So I read up on them, or sorry, I looked them up for a bit, and Tarzan is Royd Mowgli. Yes. But Mr. Shipman got dinked by them for something illegitimate, meaning the dinking was illegitimate. And then he created a new YouTube channel, and then it got another 22 strikes against it or something like that. So he's over on Twitch now, and I probably need to update my my links in my description. So anyway, as you're on your way to the like button, please scroll down and find Mr. Shipman's links. Little hint. Anyway, I hate the whole begging for the like button thing. But okay, next cliffhang. Let's see what we got. So we saw on this, he got the feather. We're just taking a quick glance at Mr. Shipman's art. I'm going to take a moment to look in this one and see if it says editor in it. I like the line art on the back. Let's see. Saga continues. Okay, so it's a little teaser. Oops. Gary Shipman. Yes, edited by... I can't read that. Pardon me. Edited by his wife, Rhonda. That's right. He has an editor instead of an ego. Blue won't stand for illegitimate dinking. Dinking should be reserved for the bonds of marriage. What I found about that company when I had their name, I looked them up and found somebody from 8 years ago, and the company is in India, but some guy who was live streaming or just putting up videos all about wrestling didn't like that other people had popular wrestling channels too. And so as they researched it and went back, it turns out that the first guy with wrestling channels, even if he wasn't first, he was behind all the false reporting through this Indian company to get people copyright struck on YouTube. And so who was going after Shipman? I mean, why would anyone go after Gary Shipman? He's a good artist. I think he's doing his own coloring, which would be awesome. I didn't look. And then, like, I don't want to call him milquetoast exactly, but he's gentle. He's genuine. Like, what? I don't know. That just pisses me off. He doesn't overdo the fur on the fur-bearing critters here. Hey, double page spread. I was just tweeting with what's his name, Graham Nolan, earlier today about double page spreads because of my excessively long stream a little while ago about page counts and books being late. I was kind of curious how long his double page spread was going to take him. I'm just surveying. I'm not trying to hold him to anything. My good worker examples are Art to Bear, even though he's admitted being late. I didn't know he's 6 months late. What's his name? Andy Smith and Graham Nolan. So I think there's one more in there I'm forgetting. Oh, it's awfully dishonoring. Okay, a little bit of reuse, but that's not bad. There we go. That's a nice closing shot. 2 pages. It's 2 separate pages. Cool. So yeah, if you can support Gary Shipman, he has the Mouse and Might books are on Fund My Comic right now, and I believe it's the black and white ones. But look through the campaign, see if he has. You can use a shopping cart on there now. If he has color stuff up there and you like that, that's cool too. So. All these wrestling channels are grappling for the top spot. And one way to do that is you swing your leg over your opponent's face to get sitting sideways on his shoulders. No. All right, anyway. Before I get struck. All right, now this one, I could not get everything off of here. I've talked before about wanting to support creators, sometimes because they might have a good story you don't know. Even if you see that there are needs for improvement, I sometimes dovetail onto that statement that we trust the creators. There might be some. Am I gonna? Okay, I gotta cut really carefully here. Okay, good. So you trust that they're going to improve or whatnot, etc. And sometimes you just find nice guys. You just want to help them get their book out. So this is the last category. Foam core board. Here we are. Hey, Cross Comics. It's a keychain tag. So if you don't know, I got 2. Hey, if you don't know, this is Canadian Shield. Oh, neat. One of them's blank in the back. That's cool. And then, whoops. Late books. That's not a King's thing, I'm sure. Oh, boy. Meanwhile, the guys who get their books out in a timely manner can never be on the Kings. I wonder why. All right, so we get a business card. It's just info on the back. So yeah, cool. 2 different versions of the trading card. One is textless. So when I first saw Canadian Shield, when it first showed up, I knew, okay, this art is I want to be really polite about this because Rick's a good guy. The buckler is a spin-off of Canadian Shield, just so you know. But the art was had room to grow. That's a good way to put it. I hope that's a polite way to put it. Let's get some detail to show. There you go. A little more detail. I hate that I'm behind on finishing my book, but I see that I'm in good company. Yes. In fact, as much as you're behind on finishing your book, you probably should be on the biggest streams. So it probably doesn't have anything to do with making them look bad or anything. God, the revenge hatred for being on time, when being on time is a personal attack. Oh my goodness, the mentality. By the way, this is awesome. This is a little burned wood piece. I know it's blurry up close. I'm never going to buy a camera. Life is horrendously disorganized. Okay, so let's see. I believe I got to name a character in this. All right, I don't know who drew that. This is a Rick Piper cover. I don't know. I think this is a fan art cover. I really should just turn that light off. There you go. Okay, and then here's the main book. So 2 covers on the side book, Snowdrift. She's a side character. That's all I know. I don't even remember the original story. And then this is the main cover on, or the only cover, I think, on number 2 here. So let's take a look at number 2. This is a Native American or Native Canadian, I guess, hero, and I remember it is, and we're going to be kind of nice tonight, okay? We're not going to be wimps. We're just going to be kind. So I hate the word nice. It used to mean you're a pushover. Oh, the tape is so sticky. It must be Canadian. Whee. Okay, so what little I remember of this is the hero, Canadian Shield, is Native Canadian, some Inuit tribe or something like that. Oh, wow. Okay, don't get distracted. And he is just basically trying to find his identity and footing, not as a hero, but also as a person. And that's all I really remember of it, because I read it like a very long time ago. Let me just take a quick glance. Don't be yourself, Mo. I just mean that I am trying to be encouraging of Rick Piper, and he is good friends with more popular people like the guy who does the Buckler. And I would say just from these first few pages that, let's see, pencils. Okay, it's a different penciler. That's why he had to do it himself. All right, I was going to say he's improved, but it's not him. All right, see if I can do this. That's very nice. We want to put the cover up on the fridge because that's very kind. Oh, War Campaign has claimed me as one of their own, like forcibly so many times, and I'm like, nah. It's not that I have something against them. It's that I just kind of don't need a group. You know, it's not that I'm a loner. It's just, hey, what if you guys get weird and I don't know what to do with it. It's not a very thick cover in terms of, it's not extra thick. It feels kind of, in fact, it feels barely thinner. It's probably the same as the interior pages. Has a nice vellum-y type feel on it. It is matte. So it's probably just a plain paper, and I never really noticed, but it's just got a little extra slick to it. So that's cool. That's a good drawing right there. Nice and heroic. Oopsies. So I don't know what this is going to be about. All I know is that I got to name one of the firefighters in it. Let's see, where is that? So the lettering looks rather variable. So we got a very dark nighttime thing going on. I don't think it needed to be that dark, but the lettering is real big. Where's my firefighter? Oh, he's probably going to come up later. Maybe. Oh, no, he's right there. I can't remember what the heck I named them, but one of them's Sebastian. If you can see it, in the guy in the gutter right there is Sebastian. He's the one I named. Can we look at the fan art cover again? I want to compliment the colorist. I don't think I've ever seen such dramatic Crayola work on a comic before. Oh, have you never seen The Bull? I'm not kidding. The Bull is drawn. It's okay. The Bull is twice as many pages as it needed to be just for drawing. So it could have been half the pages. It's drawn and colored, I kid you not, in Crayola marker, and the story is on point for how to execute the hero's journey. So it's a dad was a superhero. He's hung up his cape, so to speak. He's folded up the suit and it's under the bed in a box. His son somehow discovers that, and yeah, at the same time, the dad is used in the hero's journey sense, where there's the wiser wizard before. Or the wise wizard who advises the person going on the journey. Because the son picks up the suit, he's now the hero, but they have a bonding scene in there before that happens, where really as the son is launching on his hero's journey, he's getting his life advice from the what do you call it? I'm trying not to look at the chat because it's just distracting me. The wise wizard role of the hero's journey is fulfilled by the dad, and they get that shown before he picks up the cape. So anyway, okay. The Bull raised like $500 in the golden days of CG funding. Yes. Yeah, those guys just look for anyone who's sick of Ethan's shit. But I'm with you. I don't want to claim anyone but crack pack every day. Bow. Cool. That was funny about sick of Ethan's crap and whatnot, and all that is. I think there's just a lot of people who are afraid to speak up. That's it. All right. Anyway, but yeah, The Bull was a well-told story. So moving on. So we've got a book. It's not quite Crayola markers, but it's happening. It's here. Let's take a glance at. You wanted. I know you were joking, but you wanted the fan art cover. So I'll use the fan art cover. Oh yeah, and the hero is this is blatantly a Christian book, like a Christian character book. So there we go. Oh, that's something else I was thinking of talking about. Rooted Chronicles, I think they're called. They launched a campaign. It's on their own website for their third volume and the trade paperback of their Samson book. But it's really weird. Like the campaign is weird and how they did it. An early version of Goofanoid. Yeah, I think so. If I remember. Oh, come on. Don't be shy. There we go. You wanted to see it. So, don't know. She's a new character in this book. Don't know her deal. And this is an entirely separate additional book. So, there we go. Yeah, I think it's her origin and some other things. 9-panel format. Rick Piper signed everything. He's the writer. See, where do we have credits? Cross Comics is on all these platforms. I see that. Hey, it's a guy getting his stories told. All right. Oh, well, look what she turns into. Oh, here we go. Here are the credits. Created by Rick Piper. Pardon me. Pencils and ink by John Dillard. Coloring by Rick Piper. Lettering Rick Piper. Created by Rick, but written by C.C. Waters. And he has an editor because he does not have an ego. Well, not a big one, for all I know. I saw Fizz in someone's chat last week. He's still out there. I don't know who Fizz is. And he was in Mike T's chat. Yeah. Not sure who Fizz is. So this was all drawn by John Dillard. So if you want to get another John Dillard book besides The Buckler, you might as well catch up on Canadian Shield and check out the firefighter I got to name. We're going to move on. Putting books away. These are nice bags. I mean, they're a little crunchier, but they're not Mylar. But sometimes when you get thicker bags, they fracture more easily. All right. So we're going to look at art, then we're going to look at Guardians of Erloth, and then I'm going to open the last package. So here we go. Oh boy. Present. Add to. Let's see if I can do this right. Oh boy, that's not big enough. Make this bigger. Oops. If you liked Blade Devil, you will love the creator of Goofanoid. I am forgetting what all I know is I didn't back Goofanoid. No offense. Blade Devil. Wait. Isn't that the one I threw in the trash? Refresh me on that. Remove from studio. Fizz is the creator of Blue. Okay. Saw that. Almost nobody did like it. He ran the campaign like 4 times. Okay, you know what? Yes, you threw it away. Right. I'm starting to remember what Goofanoid was. It just looked bad. Sorry, man. You know what I should be doing? No, you don't, because I'd have to tell you. I should, let's use Brave. Oh, give me a moment. There we go. An alarm going off. Let's see. Present. I'm just going to say first, share screen. While I take care of something real quick, I'm buying hardware for my nephew. I'd like for you guys to take a look at that. And hope this works. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. Yes, you threw it away. Yes, it's raising. Yeah, yeah, we're keeping that one thrown away. So this is art by the Art Jedi, and he's got a book coming out where the logo you'll see in it. Notice it's kind of blue here. I can zoom in on that. So this is his blue line version. I might be zoomed in too much. Yeah, there we go. This is 100. It's his blue line version. So this is something I would critique. In the blue line, you can actually see something I'm going to talk, or see better with something I'm going to talk about right here, how the peck ends up forming a line in the same arc as part of the cape, and how that's kind of a problem. If you can't, when this thing is colored, it would look better. But when I was looking at this earlier and it was not colored and it was a little bit shrunken, where his arm goes all noodly, you can kind of see this is supposed to be bicep. There's supposed to be forearm things here. He does some stuff in his art to make this guy look like he has regular anatomy in the special arm, which I'll show. But he's it cuts off too soon. You don't see that where the deltoid should be, so that you know there's an arm going here, and it just looks like noise without the color. So I'll show that one in a minute. Now, where was that window? Oh boy, moving things around. Can't see my chat. I backed the first round of Goofanoid just to help a brother out. That's cool. I didn't back it, but I did try to help him get the word out and get him on streams before he started talking about his other interests. Okay. I don't know what other interests are. We're going to look at art. There's my window. So give me a moment while I peg these up on... Hope I can do this. Yeah, there we go. So I think this guy is a really good artist. He's 18 years old. Yes, an 18-year-old drew this thing. I don't have the skill, meaning the use in my hands to do this. I also don't have the talent, like the ability to see it in my mind. But there are some things that could be improved about this, and I want to point those out only because I think they'd be helpful, and I'm going to compare it to Rob Willis. Why? Because Rob Willis did a cover for him. So let's see. Present. Stop screen. Share screen. Let's go to that. Yeah, this one. Share. Add. Okay, I got to reshape this window so it'll fit better on here for all you guys. There you go. Just so we can get in on a little bit of detail. Okay. Do better. I can't quite zoom the way I want on this one, I think. Oh, yeah, I can. Control. There we go. So, like here, on this one, when I saw it at normal range, originally, right about like that, I didn't quite see his arm in the background. And the cape and the arc there blend together in terms of the arc that they form. So the arc there, the pectoralis there and his cape, they go together. So a little bit of deltoid here would indicate that the arm is pointed this way. But colored, it's going to look totally different. So colored, it will look, see if I can draw that out. He has other promo art on here. So here's one. Let's see, pencils and inks, and then colored over here. So obviously there's something else going on with this guy's arm because it's so obviously not human. I see here though he is leaving a little bit, let's see, just a little bit to the colorist, such as there across the chest. There's no striation, And this is what I refer to as when I see stuff like this, like the heavy highlight and high contrast there. To me, that's quote unquote from photography. I refer, because of doing a lot of outdoor photography, I refer to it as having too much sunlight on it, like quote unquote hot in that sense. And I know that Mo is going to have a field day with that. But anyway, it all blends together. That's my critique. Yeah, old memories. So this artist was a freshman when Shinobi Sasquatch ended and is now graduated. Dang, that's harsh, man. Okay, so what he did here in terms of leaving things to the colorist is here we get a lot more texture and striations, as particularly those muscular striations there. Notice some kind of wound here that's probably related to what's going on with his arm. I know very little about this character. There is a link in the chat to get to the campaign, so please do sign up for his campaign. It was supposed to launch tonight on David Finch's channel. Okay, Finch recognizes this kid has art talent. We all do. All right. I don't mean to detract from that. So anyway, one thing I think would be good that caught my eye before I realized he was on Finch's channel, or two things. One, this background needs to make sense to me. So here we have tall buildings behind him, and my head is trying to fill in what the things on the buildings are. Like, is this a door to a balcony? It looks like a bedroom door kind of thing, or a regular door. And what are the other things on this balcony? And right over here, it looks like there's that's a person in silhouette. My imagination is filling things in. So I don't know what all this is behind him, but it comes down, and the perspective looks like this comes down almost to his level, and then there's this city below it. So I think I've got that right. Here, I like the use, right? All right, I got to zoom in. Ugh, nauseating. I've heard that name. Oh, right, he's friends with Jimmy Ray. I think of him as, I hope I'm repeating the name right. I think of him as a professional who does a lot of covers for DC. But freshman, yep, okay. Gotta scoot this over for you. Scooch. So down here, I like the lack of detail being used to show depth. So he's got his hand on one part of the corner of a building, and he's floating just above another part. That this is the edge of a building. I really like the fact that he includes a vent right there, some kind of drainage. But the city he's supposed to be over and what's moving here, if you're going to do things far away and low detail, you also want to go oh, that's right, I forgot the meme. Thank you. Oh, I forgot that meme. Anyway, but I like when artists use thinner lines to show things that are less detailed in the distance. And he's got thinner lines all over here where things are more detailed, but in the distance. So line weights matter. That's a hashtag right there, I guess. So a lot of skill. He's got his anatomy down. A little bit of weird texturing right here. I don't know if you can see it. I say weird because it's just a different way of doing things. It's not wrong, but he's got, these overlapping things that have nothing to do with anatomy, but it's fine. He's just showing shading. So instead of crosshatch, he uses this for pullouts. Unless this guy's like made of things I'm not aware of. But anyway, so he's got the anatomy. Strange mask. I really compliment this kid on how you think like this is muscle fibers or something like that. It's not. How he's got cloth folding really interestingly, the way cloth would actually behave. This guy's got like genie pants on or something. But so I've already said the one critical thing about I can't tell what's going on in the background here in terms of the perspective is kind of off. Maybe that's kanji written up there. It got on the show anyway. But the perspective here, they've got this big tall thing hovering over another city below. I just don't know what's going on. But the thing that first made things tough for me. Here we go. So up here is we got more name dropping. Blue is focusing on a certain area. Yes, kanji. Okay. Where the black meets the black, it takes away from the ability to see things. And that's where I want to contrast this with Rob Willis. So notice that he has an undrawn white line around all of his heavy blacks on this character. It's all the way around. Even in here, there's a little extra gray and white and stuff like that. So black meets black down here, where he's got some gray. So the black outline of this piece of the building, he's this gargoyle thing or whatever he's on, overlaps on top of him being grayed out there. So how your lines run into each other, I think, matters. I should zoom in here a bit more. So Willis is doing, of course, not genie pants, but more the muscles showing through the pants, whatever. He just does muscles everywhere. So, oh, too far. Nope. I wish I could grab there we go. So here, for example, this is a black line meeting black lines, and it works because of what the black line outlines. And up here, we leave white space around our black lines to separate from background. So notice how the background items fade before they run in, as opposed to what he's doing over here. So I think there's, I mean, for an 18-year-old, this guy has massive skill. We can take a look at just at the sign-up page. I did leave myself a link in here. Where the link's in the description. And oh, here we go. There we go. So his sign-up page has all this artwork on it. Go ahead, sign up. And the logo here, it's not entirely showing. It's cut off a bit. Yeah, there we go. It looks like AMAROR. That's a K. There's a space right up there at the top. It's Armarok, not Amaror. My mistake for so long. Anyway, he's got the other art here that he's showing. He's got some character stuff. He has these pages that I showed you guys. That I haven't showed you guys. And so let's just take a look at his pencils. You know, the kid's got real talent. Go give him a sign up. Figure out what the book is going to be about. And yeah, that's it. It's just, I wanted to give a little analysis on white space around your pencil or around your black lines. And one reason I emphasize that kind of thing for good art is this guy has so much skill. And just one little change like that. In fact, I think right here, around here, Kermit the Frog. Oh boy. Yeah, there we are. It's a little blurry because it's immensely blown up. But right here, he does that. He's got that white space. Not as much right there. So it's good to have, if you want to, I mean, this kid looks like he wants to sell his pencils. That's why you do something this detailed instead of on ink. And if you're inking digitally, you know, he's not cutting corners to sell the originals. So yeah, amazing skill. I think that's awesome. Good for the kid. All right. So that's the art critique. Keep it nice and short. And close that. Yeah, we can close all those. All right, we're here. So now it's time for a book. I'm sure Chael's like asleep by now. Yeah, it's Art Jedi. Yes, I just critiqued Art Jedi. Of all things, it was two little critiques, and that's it. to promote him, of all things. Where the black meets the black. All we know for sure is Bancroft will be watching through binoculars, cell phone in hand, 9 and 1 dialed, awaiting the final digit. I don't know about Australia, but I know in England it's 999, I think. So I'm not sure what Australia does. So I did make notes this week for the book, so I got to pull those up and hopefully be able to see you guys still. Yeah, here we go. Guardians of Erloth notes. I hope I'm pronouncing everything correctly. Because he's completely racist. So Guardians of Erloth is one of the first books I reviewed on this channel. You know, everybody, thank you for hanging with me this long if you've been here. Here's what a real artist says. You don't always have to use the white space. Okay. If the line thickness is done properly, right on. I don't remember seeing that from the masters I grew up with. It seems to be a modern comic thing to leave the white space around. Okay. You know what? You're right. And if you're kind of like Kanan White, where you get those pools of black that kind of sliver all over the place, because they're nice and thick, you can bring a line all the way to them because it's a different line weight. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. We don't need white space if we have different line weights. And with the thing I was showing, which I can share back, I actually thought about that part too. Let's see, share screen, window. I still have it open somewhere. Yeah, right there. Right here, it's not in yet. Add to stream. Okay. Right here, he's changing from one texture all over here to another texture with the cape and folds in it, and then another texture back here where the electric or magic or whatever around the arm is. That does help. He does have a white space down here. It does kind of help, but I'd noticed it in different places where the white space would help, or a definitive line against gray or something. So that was my reaction. Also, some of this is just me reacting to, I couldn't see it very well on the screen. So I found a bigger copy and looked at it again. So how things are presented, let's see. Blue's confused between how Bancroft always says 999 when spotting blacks. Whoo! That is, I should read ahead of you instead of anyway. And instead, I gotta read those just to myself before I read them out loud. Wow. Okay. You don't always have to use the white space, right? And you're correct. I did notice the difference between the two techniques. Okay, beat that one to death and remove. Keep it there just in case we need it again. Has anybody here read Guardians of Erloth besides Chael? And get that. Chael is probably asleep on the couch by now. All right, so number one, this uses a framing. There's a little bit of green in his eye on the cover. So this book does not list an editor, but book 2 does. So we start out, it's an outdoor shot. We're having explained to us through a narrator here what's going on. And I would wonder, like, this castle is in ruins. Here's a lizard head. So the staging, I don't know enough about staging. The staging is really nice. We see the thing we're supposed to see, and then we go, oh, that's there. Or we look around again and say, oh, that's there. Also, single panel here, but the tree, and I don't know what tree this is referring to, or maybe this is from inside the castle, I think it is. These little archways, that might be the interior of an archway. That's used to create almost 2 panels. The kids are playing hide and seek, and the guard sees his fellow guard get killed. And what we're having explained to us is, in the kingdom of Kos, the center of the Attican Empire. So that's where they are, at this ruined fortress, castle, or whatever. For centuries, the kingdom of Kos has staved off the encroaching darkness. It has survived the wilds of the Attican wilderness, as well as neighboring kingdoms and their Denzians, who would be these lizard people. All right. And there are things I already like about this book in 3 pages. The narration. There's been one constant for the kings of Erloth. All right, so we have Kos is in the empire of Attica. So Attica with the kingdom of Kos, and Erloth must be another kingdom. A little bit unclear there. As well as for the kings of Kos. So because we read that way, Kos is a kingdom, therefore Erloth must be a kingdom. Erloth doesn't come up again in the books I've read. Anyway, the Guardians of Erloth have always maintained the lines of a line of succession. Okay, so we got Guardians of Erloth. They're maintaining a line of succession. It led me to believe that he's a guardian. He may not be. And what he is doing, his name is Caius, Caius, is the kingdom of Kos is home to the fiercest of Erloth's guardians. Okay. And he is protecting these kids from these lizards who attacked and already killed one soldier. I wonder, why are they playing outside? Like, why aren't they inside playing around, which might be more dangerous, less dangerous? I don't know. But if they're in the castle playing around, is that more dangerous when enemies could be afoot? Except the opening narration makes me think that enemies aren't quite so afoot, and that out here in the jungle, they're doing okay, which is why the kids are allowed to play in the first place. So this really is a surprise attack. And lo and behold, as you turn the pages, it's a surprise attack. They were really surprised by this. Erloth isn't mentioned because the Guardians are following Gandalf's orders. Keep it secret, keep it safe. How would you rate the lettering on a scale of this to good? What the hell are you talking about? The lettering's fine in here. Well, I mean, it's mostly okay. The special fonts like this are a little tough for me, but I do need glasses. So anyway, one thing I like immediately is the lizards have their caption balloons in a texture so that they get a different voice. That's pretty cool. It's just a wiggly line instead of a smooth line, but it's not a thought balloon. Later, when the Hot Witch shows up, which is like in a few pages, she thinks something, and you get that thought balloon the way you should instead of everybody always talking out loud. That's good. And instead of the thoughts being narration, which they are not. So, at least they're not yet. So this is all a framing device. He gets the kids where they need to go. We find out through dialogue that these kids are a prince and princess to the kings of Erloth. So I should say Erloth. Haven't backed it yet. It's been on my list for years at this point. It's good. Erloth, okay, we already got that. Cool. So the interplay between these two is hilarious. It's there's so much show don't tell that's done well in Chael's writing. So here he has them interact. She's poking at him. She's a witch of some kind, sorceress, not the sorceress we meet later, but he's bringing 2 drinks. He gives her 1. They're talking like this, and she says, he says, who says I care less? Maybe I'm just a little bit wiser. And she says, doubtful. The only things you focus on these days are finding trouble. Okay. A thought balloon, if you will. Awesome. Love the pun. So she gets him on, oh, you're just trying to find trouble. And he just walks right past her with surprise. She's like, whoa. So there's humor in here. I find all the characters to be very real human. Well, except for the lizards. But he's like, and making sure that trouble stays far away from the king. Just whoosh, right through. So he comes into the kids' room where they're bedding down. He's like, hey, it's story time. And the kids are quiet. He's like, what's wrong? And she has her thoughts out in the hallway, which I think are foreshadowing. So she says out loud, my dear Kai is predictable, always the dolt. There's a word. For as long as I've known you. And then she says, as she's pouring out the drink he gave her, throw a little trouble your way, and you'll forget where the real threat lies, absorbed in the need to fix the past. So, all right. So the kids are worried about visiting mom. Why did these giant lizards attack and whatnot? And he lets them know because of things that were said during the battle, where he said, "Go tell your leader that the leopard king returns," or something like that. They're asking, "Who's the leopard king? Is that our father?" And she says, "No, you dolt. Father is the Sun King of Kaz." And so Caius here wants to know, well, where'd you learn that? Where'd you learn that word? And then is the leopard king Simera? So here's the deal. Back in the battle, we see there's so much show don't tell. It's so cool. He can just talk to his eagle and leopard, and he has some kind of connection with them. So that's really cool. And hey, I can tell you a story, but it's really long. Yeah, you don't want to hear it tonight. The way dads tease, but he's not their dad. And so they're like, oh, please, if you know kids, this is cool. This is all a framing device. This whole character development thing to get into is a framing device to get into 80 years ago, 80. I had to double check. I did not misread that. It's not 30. I see this. So like the Beastmaster, maybe a little bit. I think it's some sorcery that's beyond that. It's not entirely clear, and it doesn't exactly need to be. So here's the Leopard King before him. Here's Caius, same name, so we assume it's him. Do they live like really long times? Maybe. He's playing as a kid, and I had to look for it here. Like if he's in danger because he gets kidnapped, then because this is all told in narration again because he's telling the story. This was really neat. Like, why does this look so dark? Oh, it's a shadow coming over. Got it. His mom runs inside, where some lizard people are trying to bargain a peace treaty with the king, and the advisor is recommending it. Remember, advisor with a goatee. So he has a goatee. Another compliment to how this is written. There's another guy with an eye patch. I just don't want to forget these later when I get to all my notes. Reverse time jump. So the anti-Beastmaster 2. Yes, that's what we're doing. Visually identifiable characters. So eye patch, who we'll meet in a minute. This guy with the goatee, you know who they are. they don't fall to same face syndrome in the art, things like that. By the way, the art in here is on point. Like it tells it everything's drawn properly. It's drawn and colored by Ryan Best, good name. So anyway, he is negotiating peace, and I think what the lizards did, just reading ahead for you, he finds out, hey, my kid's kidnapped. The lizard here is trying to say, no, please, but because they're going to kill him because the kid just got kidnapped. And to me, it reads like jump into a conclusion. Like, how do you know the lizards took him? Because, duh, the lizards did. But that is, are there factions among the lizard people where these reptiles might not be in league with the people who, or with the ones who kidnapped the kid? My thoughts on that were, if they're all together, either this guy's just lying and begging for his life, as always, because that happens, or be really cool is the lizards are very cunning, and this guy is sent to, and the two he's with are sent to negotiate peace, not knowing that it's part of a setup for something else. So that was clearly the work of an art Jedi, a Sith letterer. You have a problem with the lettering here, don't you? So, anyway, I don't know what your problem is. I'm not getting it, but roll on with it, man. So that's never made clear. It's just me reading into the book, that it's fine. And the king goes off very quickly to mount an army, find his son, etc. His wife, who is wearing a hood here, she's crying. Would never be able to live without without them finding her son, etc. He leaves their fortress basically defenseless until the guy with the eye patch comes up and says, "Hey, they're attacking the fortress. It was all a ruse. Stealing the sun was just a ruse." So, and their name is Pardus, Pirdus. That's the name of the land he's over. So he's the Leopard King of Pardus, and it's all a ruse. So he goes rushing back to the castle to find his wife wounded, etc. And this is where we meet Varanus, this gigantic red lizard. And that it seems like there's a little bit of hubris. He's so quick to react that it gets him. The only thing that's not made clear here is they say later that he fought, and they refer to this as a war, and that the king fought through the war to keep a shard. And that wasn't quite clear to me because of, he's basically killed here. Where was he supposed to get the shard anyway? Or where was he supposed to hide the shard? Because during a war, this is basically 3 battles in a day. So if you call that a war, but we're not told about the shard in this book. So I like the setup. Every character is a different character. Everything that matters is there. It's all told visually. This is just so well done to get the story across. We have different voice. These characters aren't all perfect. He has a personality with several facets to it, not just the hot-headed go chase after thing. And you can see that there is a way that his actions make sense. So there's that. The next book just picks up 5 years later. So before we get to that, these came with some pretty cool bits. I should show off those. So there's a print here of Varanus. Oh, there is the one cover, which is signed. There is, if I didn't lose it, the second cover. Too shiny. Everything's shiny. So I'll get into narrating through the second story and telling the things I think are good about it. So let's see. We find out in the second book. Okay, I mentioned caption balloons. Oh yeah, the blonde guy with the mohawk is named Caius. For a reason I'll get to later, Cassius and Anaya, Anaya, are the names of the 2 children he was defending. I covered that. The little kid is Caius. Okay, the green lizards at the Lysar. Oh, all right. That was a note I could skip. It's fine. Caption balloons, King, Prince Caius, eye patch guy I mentioned with goatee guy. Okay, yeah. All right, I mentioned all those things. So here's the other cover. And I think one of these is Kanan White. I just don't remember which. I think these covers might not be. Oh, Keith Hinman. And let's see if this one's also Keith. This is Kanan White. So Keith Hinman and Kanan White did the covers. So really cool stuff. It also came with a print of that cover. You know, just some basic doodads, print, card, sticker, etc. Oh, yeah, and something about Comics du Nord. So you see this shield with two swords, Comics du Nord, which is Chael Roberts' logo, and then there's this other one. Whoopsies. Here we go. We've got this other one where it's built up a little bit more, different swords, etc. These are great logos because they've got detail to them, but at a distance, you can still recognize them. So they stand out that way. Just great design work. A lot of stuff like that. Okay. And then some other good storytelling techniques he uses in a minute. Put you guys away after the stream. Okay. Stop that one. All right, so here are the covers. There's that one. Now this volume 2, it is a serious book. Here are the covers. There we go. Now, by the way, I'm not going to be narrating through volume 3, just so you know. From a distance, it looks like Acorn Comics. Great. Okay. Killed over trying to hide a shard. Shard. Hey, Felix, thanks for being here. No wonder Hex hasn't backed the series yet. No attention grabbing fan art covers. Right. Oops. Out of the panel. Hail Felix. Right, so a lot of the usual stuff. We get a sticker. We get her from this larger piece of art. Another bookmark, which is her slightly different. And this Guardian whose name is... He has 2 names, of course, just like Aragorn. And it just fell through my crack. Oh, boy. Howl Runner. There it is. I wrote it down. And the other cover, of course, is the other print. So some of the usual stuff. Not bad. Glad to have it. And I will... Now, I accidentally backed for these volumes twice. So I have signed copies, and I think I mixed them up, and I accidentally brought out a signed copy. So, yeah, I accidentally read the signed copy, which, you know, when I pulled it out, wondering, like, is this the correct one? It has my fingerprints all over it already. So, yeah, I read the wrong one. And maybe they're wrong. Maybe I have 2 signed copies. I don't know. Excuse me for looking around for a moment. Okay. I don't see where I put my extra books. Ha! Anyway. More hail and bow. Okay, I hope you're here, Chael. So this book is nice. So we have the interior cover. I like the way he dressed it with this stuff. You know, the little bit of art. This is not a panel, or no, I'm sorry. This is part of a panel that we see. He's got here for his credits. The credits in book 3 are a little simpler. It's not as fancy, but this is a 48 story page book. The pinups here inside, we get to know who everybody is in the story. These are great. Again, more thanks in the back. He didn't list every backer this time. So it's 52 pages inside the cover, and these 48 are all story. And it just starts 5 years later. That's it. So let me get this out of the way. Trying to be nice to my stuff. Okay. So 5 years later, and we just come in, happen upon a robbery, and this is how we're introduced to Howl Runner, this guy. So what's neat is double page spread. We get the lay of the land. We're somewhere else. And Howl Runner. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 in 4 pages. We see that he's virtuous in his character, how he sees the child he's giving, who's begging, to whom he's giving money, his generosity. The people at the bar know him. He says, nice to see you didn't bring trouble. You know, the way guys harass each other. Are they inside? They've been here for a couple hours. Okay, we're going to meet his team. We don't get everybody's name right off the bat. Look, identifiable person, itch eye patch guy. And so as you really meet him, you go back, wait, did I see him in book 1? Yes, you did. And it totally works. We got Gregory Levitra here. Hey. So how you doing, Greg? So again, visual cues to keep the character straight, even though these two have goatees, they're shaped differently, or that guy's got a mustache goatee, they're shaped differently. This is how comics should be done. And so much little comments that people would make. I find the dialogue that tells us things isn't forced at all. So we get information in ways that people make stupid comments, you know, that it's just very natural the way people do that. So, in fact, in a scene coming up here, oh, I can't remember what the example was. I should have written it down. Anyway, eye patch guy, visually distinct. His name is Dallin, Dallin. So they're talking about, and the way the story is told is great. So we get through this block of getting to know him, just through all these other interactions. We're following down, and instead of jumping all over the place trying to give us 20 different things that are just loose threads that we never get to follow up on, we're following one person into another. It's like Star Wars. So the original edit of Star Wars jumped back and forth at the very beginning between what was going on up in the sky and then what Luke was doing on the ground watching the battle up in the sky. And it was terrible. But Mrs. Lucas at the time, she edited that so that you would follow excuse me, you would follow the battle from up in space, then the droids come down, and then we move over and meet Luke. And it flowed much better. This is the same thing. We get to follow Howl Runner in and then meet his, so we know what he's about, so we can attach to him, and then we meet his team and we get to know these people. And so this is his usual team. And he even says, how did one of the greatest kingdoms in Attica fall? General, and he's asking for a name. Adisa. Oh, I mixed that up. I thought Adisa was the king's name. That's totally wrong. General Adisa. And he gives a little bit of the background story. He was there for it. And they get into, we need to find the shard so that we can find the boy. And then we jump right over, it's like a parallelism to a new character. And if it is true the boy still lives, he must be found, is the leftover dialogue here. And she, simultaneously in her little neck of the woods, I need the boy brought here. Everybody's looking for the boy. So he lays out very nicely what are the plot points, and the race is on for people to find the boy. She's employing this albino-y lizard here, and she commands that tell Varanus, I'm going to say his name wrong, because anyway, tell Varanus I need to talk to him. So she's up in rank wherever she is. The elf warns that they hate, she's going to be the messenger. This elf warns that Varanus hates elves as much as humans, etc. We're finally given names for all the people here, Wilhelm and whatnot. There is a joke in here, by the way. It's so bad. Anyway, they get together on what their mission is to go find the boy, and it all works and flows. We jump scenes, and we see what's going on with the boy, and he's having his awakening to his powers. He's getting hit as a slave. They've just talked about how they tell the bug eaters, which are the lizards, not to harm him, but he's getting hit. It makes him angry. He senses a leopard who's nearby. The leopard helps attack for him. When that leopard is killed, he feels the physical pain. Really cool. Does Wilhelm scream? Is that the joke? No, unfortunately. Let's see. Everyone's making a stink over that shard. Yep, we'll get there. It looks like she's going back to Pardus, which is where the big guy, the giant lizard here, Varanus, and I keep giving names for a reason that I want to get to, where he conquered. And oh look, there's a traitor, dude with the goatee, visually connectable, just well told like that. Anyway, they do eventually come back, and the elf brings the traitor back to the sorceress. The white lizard brings the boy to the sorceress. They just need to find the shard with the D, shard. Thanks for the links, by the way, Felix. So here we are. Jump through the story. They realize right away he's not wasting time. Chael's writing is just on point. Oh, and this book has an editor. Believe it or not, there's an editor by La Dame Rogue. So the rogue lady, whoever she is, I don't know, his wife, girlfriend, somebody he hired. So they realize, hey, the boy has been allowed to roam free in her area. That other guy is here. We better get to them before one recognizes the other. Immediately, 1 page, done. We need to escape. He doesn't drag it out, make it take 15 pages before, oh my gosh, are you the kid? No. Because he was kidnapped when he was 5. He doesn't really remember his parents. I like the human touch that's given. They know where the shard should be, so they go out to a particular camp where the leftovers of Pardus are living. And yes, there it is. Now they need to find the boy. Somehow, magically, the shard will help them. These two are escaping, and the traitor, who is just weak-willed as all hell, they get their absence is discovered. Here's that art that we saw on the front cover, or sorry, in the inside page right there. The chase, it's right here. So he trips, and people overhear each other. So our party with what's his name, Howl Runner right here, they're finding the boy. They run into the escape. The two are caught between the chasers and the rescuers. It plays out, but they overhear the lizard refer to him as a traitor, and they're like, "Who's he talking about?" Etc. Now let me. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So during the very quick little battle, I don't know who's in the full knight's armor. Can't see it, but he's got his helmet down. Are you sure you faced these demons before? And he answers, "What you talking about, Wilhelm? I live for this." Anyway, the only error in the lettering I find is like this balloon cuts off the tail. It has a line through it, and these need to be connected. There's little like this is the only panel. So what you talking about, Wilhelm? Oh, so bad. Anyway, so let's see. I've got my notes. She ranks Guardian. Oh yeah, somewhere. What's his name? Howl Runner is a Guardian. So he uses keywords, and Amani is the traitor. But we're given a few keywords to be able to follow the story. Apparently, the Guardians have powers. We still don't know if Caius, and this would be young Caius, which would be now 75 years ago from the beginning. We don't quite know what all that is yet. The shard is a MacGuffin that everybody's chasing. And then this book could have ended once they have both. Oh, yeah. We get interplay between the two different elves. So this is interesting. And it shows us who the characters are. Every character has his or her own personality. Wow, I bet he couldn't wait to use that line. Yeah. A really nice thing before I fast forward to the end is here he's seeing the grave of his parents whom he never knew. And they're having a little talk, and he says, everybody knew his parents before him, which is kind of off-putting, to be honest. He's got green eyes right there. That's the same guy. And let's see. I forget this guy's name. Oh, no. He is assigned to... I forgot his name. He wins an arm wrestling contest, but... he's supposed to be looking after the kid. Oh, Callium. Yes. So the names are important. Callium, and he's the one that I mentioned before. So why are the names so important? The way Chael did this, I don't know if he just picked names or rolled dice for him or what, but all the names that look alike and go together and whatnot, it seems like they all come from the same language. That's a nice touch. That's a very Tolkien touch to get your names seeming like they belong together in the same language. So a lot of praise for that. Let's see. He sees Callium winning an arm wrestling match. He wanders off a little bit, and he's very put off by everybody knows his parents except me. What's eating you, boy? I never knew them, and this is his parents' grave. I first met your father long ago. I was a little older than you are now, which is more of that. But the touching thing, he says, how did you meet my parents? We came here on a quest. What was your dad like? He has a little flashback to what the dad was like. He was your friend. Yeah, he became more like a brother. He gave me this. It's the teeth from his first kill. So there's some connection there. And then we have to flash over to... there's a line that's missing. Oh, yeah, he's guarding the kid while everybody else goes to confront the priestess. So the color digital version of NS Chapter 1 is coming next week. Cool. Please follow him on Twitter. Yep. All right. Everybody else except for Callium goes to confront the priestess to find out what she's up to. And she's like, you left your camp unguarded again. Everybody makes that mistake. And they get back to... let's see. I missed a line. There's one line I want to find, and I missed it. But they get back to the camp, and the kid is gone. This would be the point in The Empire Strikes Back where you could end the book, and he didn't. He added a little coda. So let me find that one line. It is before this. It's after he connects with the kid about his parents. He became more like a brother. Oh, it's up here. It's up here. So it's in the scene change. He says to young Caius, so Callium Caius, a lot of the same language stuff. After they talk about his parents, he says, now, let's get back to the party. I have some more arms to break, and I need someone to hold my drink. It's that little thing that says, we've talked about our worries, we can put them aside, and, I'm with you. I need someone to hold my drink. You matter to me. So a lot of very adult in the sense of mature, not like adult movie, no, but very mature characters in here. I think that speaks well of Chael. It wouldn't surprise me if he has kids. So yeah, they figure out the kid's gone, and then instead of ending there, he gives us a little coda on how they're going to go chase him down and where they have to go. They're going to go back to the sorceress, and because of the traitor, he knows where the sorceress is going because our spy elf, her, the blonde one, who's been in competition with the dark-haired one, she spied and overheard a couple of keywords that he could define for them. So they get to move on. All right. So we get to this. They interrupt the ceremony. They get the boy and the jewel back, but the boy is now wounded, and so they need to go take care of him, which leads us into book 3, where to go find another sorceress who can do the magic they need to save the boy's life. That's it. That's the book. So a lot of narrating there. I wanted to bring all this out because I don't just enjoy narrating through books. It's just a lot of words, but all the writing skills are in place. The way scenes are handled and pacing, and then one thing leads to another, and information, and we get to follow a character. We know why we're doing something, so we know why the characters are doing what they're doing. It's really cool. I loved it. Okay, these books are really going to give camp guards a bad name. Yes, they are. Okay. Oops. Oh, hope it didn't dent it. Extra trash. Remove my doxing info. Okay. 76. So if you want to look that up, Chael, I'm 76. So, I don't remember if I backed this one to the hilt, but this is part 1 and part 2. And who did this art, just to give credit? A little bit simpler. I think the budget had to come in on this. He split it into 2 parts because it was so long. This is 30 pages of story, so that's cool. Story Chael Roberts, art and colors Ryan Best, Eric Weathers letters. Yeah, that's probably what's wrong with the lettering. You're right, Mo. What do we got? One thing leads to another. Good for writing, bad for fidelity. Logically leads to another, and edited by the same rogue dame. So, yeah, just to give you a few visuals on this one before we open the last one. So that's why I saved the last package for the end of the stream, was we get to open it, look at it fresh. So same artist, same deal, cool stuff. I like the use of panels that flow. I remember from when I read this, really feeling the stakes of the kid is going to die. The danger everybody's getting in. That I think there was something about a price must be paid. They brought in Weathers for this issue. I'm glad. All right, now you're making me wonder. Who lettered? Now I'm just curious. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, for this issue. Right. Okay. He lettered all of them. Yeah, the story was getting so big he had to break it into 2 pieces. I just think it's really well told. It's well constructed. I'm immersed in the world when I read it. And then somewhere down here we get further explanation of the magics, I think. And this logo will mean something in the future. So that's just a quick flip. Oh yeah, more stuff. And then we're going to look at the stuff that's still boxed up. All right, I hope I'm not boring you guys to death. So, Eric must have lettered that first issue during a tornado. Are you mad at Eric? Oh, hey, I think, yeah, this was really cool. I think this was mailed separately. I can't remember. A few people have done these Christmas card things. It's really awesome. They mail them separately. No name on it. That's good. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays from Comics du Nord. Art and colors by Ryan Best. Yeah, very cool. A nice print. Hope I'm not overlit. Yeah, but are you cool with Eric? No. Oh, look. It's a magnet. I wonder what I can use to put it on my fridge for. Anyway. So more cards. Awesome. Very happy with it. Now, I remember looking at the ash can, but this 4 dragon thing is a really cool logo. Yeah, I think this is a preview. Yep. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I love how he doesn't just add more and more and more, and we don't know what's going on. Oops, drop the magnet. But he adds depth to the story as we go. That's another great thing going on there. Okay. I know what I'm screenshotting that for him later. Okay. So anyway, but that's another thing about Chael's writing is he gives us some resolve on what we have before he adds to it. So it's not the TV show Lost just getting you lost or something like that. And finally, I can open my mail. I've been waiting to do this one. So yeah, I think even though I've given away a fair amount of the book for the first 2 volumes, it's I hope it's not too much where I really hope he gets this out in it. Well, too much where it's considered spoilery, but he's on volume 3 now, part 2. Oh, the bag cracked. It is. I really hope he can afford to do a trade paperback in the future. That'd be really nice. I dubbed Eric the varsity letterman of CG. It must have been during his JV days. You know what? It'd be easier if I just cut towards myself. Haha. So, that was easy. Always on the lookout for that pack and slip. So there's a pin. That's the dent right there. That's the lump. He wisely put the pin this direction. However, when you do this with a pin, it may make a dent in the book. So, broken tape everywhere. There we go. It is that 4 dragon logo. Sorry, it's not in focus. Got tape on my finger. Come on. All right. Yep. So we have a pin. Cool. It's an acrylic pin. And yep, it's a pin. Okay. All right, so confession time. If there were more covers, I would have gotten both. Can't always do everything. I am not a fan of John Maylin's artwork. It's like, I know he's really skilled, and one of his skills is putting things in motion, like having his characters and stuff off balance so that you know that they're moving. I'm not a fan of his artwork because it's always too angular for me. It doesn't breathe enough. Whereas some of Mike Miller's artwork would used to sometimes look like it was statues where they're not moving, and so it doesn't breathe. That his stuff would just not breathe that way. Some of John Malin, or most of John Malin's artwork, doesn't breathe for me because as much skill as it takes to do it, it all looks like robots. Like here, it looks like a robot head to me and stuff. So yeah, I have trouble with that. So that's confession time. I know he's skilled. I'm not denying that. I know he's talented in the sense of talent being like what you can do in your head. I'll fix that tape later. Why am I doing that? So I'm not denying either of those. It's just really not my taste. His style is really not my taste. So yes, nice layout. I would still take all the elements of the same cover and just have them drawn by somebody else. That's all. That's just me. So we pick up where we left off. It's just more Ryan Best artwork. Chael Roberts, Ryan Best, Eric Weathers, John Malin on the cover. Cover colors are done by Dash Martin, and same editor. Oh, colors, that reminds me. One of the things I wanted to say about line artwork earlier when we were looking at the 18-year-old was some people, inkers know this, like Shelby Robertson and Art Tiber, totally know that you get your pencilers who get all the fame, and then the inkers fix things for the pencilers. Like all the time, and then you get the colorists who fix things for the inkers. Anyway, it's like everybody's terrible. I think the artwork's kind of improving in this, to be honest. That Ryan Best is putting things that are more dense and detailed in here with the dragon scales and the mail. Just wow, a lot of time. I'm not going to waste time counting the pages on this one. Or maybe I will. 1, 2. So more castles. He doesn't waste time on all the bricks, just enough to give you the impression. So, man, that lizard looks intense. I have no idea what's going on in the story at this point. Jumped a couple pages. Now, is this to be continued or does it end? Let's see. Thanks to everybody. And to be continued, right on. There'll be a volume 4. So if we're going to have a volume 4, I hope that he can do like a catch-up printing or a trade paperback to cover things he doesn't have a lot of. Let's see. I dubbed the Eric. Oh, yeah, that's it. You already read that one. I try to make my character seem alive and dynamic at the very least. Yeah, that Vegeta you drew for me was awesome. Just very alive, you know, and moving. Attack, you know, I have a feeling that should say splort on it because it's an elephant and there should be like something he's stepping on, you know. All right. Oh, okay, we're getting into like wolf demon stuff now down here. This is, he just keeps expanding the world, but if this is going to be par for the course on how he wrote the other books, the world expands, you get to live in it for a little while, and then it'll expand again. So I am really looking forward to this one. That looks like the Ark of the Covenant almost. So yeah, this should be great. Looking forward to reading it. So thank you, Chael, for delivering. Let's see what we got here. So we have a slightly different coloring on the cover for our prints. And then Varnus the Destroyer is apparently very patriotic to America. So, okay. And he's got the eagle up here holding a torch. This is all part, all right. And where you can see in some of our pageantry from early America, the eagles would be holding arrows in one claw. He's got rifles in one claw. So yeah, and I forget what that's a reference to otherwise. But okay. Another trading card, right on. Another trading card, cool. Another sticker. Two-sided bookmark. Oh yeah, that's right. He held was it surveys to decide who goes on the bookmark. And the winners went one on each side. Yeah, it was a little battle. Of course, business card. So thank you for delivering, Chael. This came to me like, I don't know, a month and a half ago. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the talk through. If you do like my talk throughs, or if you want to leave feedback, come back and give a comment on how I can improve with the just talking through a book, and where I need to shore it up a little and do less, and maybe things I should talk about more. I should talk more about what I like about a book and why I like it. That should be the big thing, and then how something can be improved. So yeah, I found a lettering mistake, and there's a color mistake and a little art mistake somewhere in there. I just didn't point them out. So those exist. Those are stuff for editorial to deal with. And there we go. So thank you, Chael, again. But if you guys want to leave a little feedback, I'd really appreciate it on how I could improve doing the streams, how to make them less boring, less of a burden. So, if somebody wants to watch the whole thing, they can. And let's see, how long have I been on here? Oh, an hour and 39. Cool. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you guys just commenting and stuff. No Cover by Donald DeLay. Yep, looks like I got the whole chat. Alrighty, present. Video file, J drive, and reverse peel. Don't know what I'm doing next week. So I knew I was doing this coming up. Yeah, I'll figure it out. There were other things I wanted to talk about and just not time. Anyway, you guys take care of yourself. Add to stream. I hope it's the right one. Yeah. Everyone have a good night.